Here's what's coming up on Retirement Planning Made Easy.
You need to look at your entire tax picture over the entirety of your retirement. We call it your retirement tax bill. And figure out if there's a way you can minimize that, just like everybody wants to. Minimize taxes, maximize returns.
We like to work with our clients and have a nice diversified plan. Again, we are not saying that you have to eliminate all risk, but as long as you have other assets that are protected and working together, it's okay to have some risk. You know that you'll have some assets that are still protected for if the market were to go down.
We're doing tax efficiency planning with them and looking at strategic ways that we can work with that to reduce. We may not be able to eliminate it, but we can definitely look at ways that we can reduce that to help them have more spendable money in retirement.
If you're in a situation where you have two Social Securities, then planning becomes even more important because you need to figure out what is the best scenario for you and your spouse, both before one of you passes away and after. And I'm here to tell you that it can cost you up to 6 figures if you choose wrong.
And now, the host of Retirement Planning Made Easy.
Welcome to this week's show.
We've got 30 minutes of great information prepped up just for you.
And the show starts right now.
Today on the roundtable, we're talking about navigating changing market conditions. Lucas, will you be our captain on this in navigating these waters totally uncharted, right?
I
always like to talk about, hey, who has a crystal ball? Nobody has a crystal ball. But there are things that we can do, things that we can plan for so that we mitigate this risk. So what do we need to adjust when we start talking about navigating these conditions?
Sure. So first and foremost, when there are changing conditions, we are not going to tell you, hey, be afraid, put everything in cash. That is not the case. When things are changing, it's important to look at your whole picture. And if you are truly diversified, some of these changes won't affect you whatsoever as long as we have a plan in place and we have, different accounts that are doing different jobs to support your full goal.
Yeah, I know there are advisors out there that when there's a swing in the market, their phone just lighting up, right?
Yeah.
It's lighting up all over the place. But my feeling is that if you're well diversified and planned properly, when there is a volatile moment, the phones don't ring because people know that they're planned accordingly. So let's talk about this. If things do change like that, Brian, should I adjust my withdrawal schedule? Should I, because I'm getting a little nervous now, just stay the course, right? If you're planned properly.
Stay the course is the message that a lot of people get regardless from an advisor, in general.
Oh, yeah.
And the advantage we have in doing that because of the true portfolio diversification that we do, when the market recently had some issues and so on, we didn't have any, we had a few phone calls, but most of the phone calls we have were just people checking in to say it is okay, right? That type of thing. But our phone did not ring off the hook, and I relate that to the fact of what we do and how we use our true portfolio diversification. So no, it should not be a knee-jerk reaction. You should assess things and so on. There's nothing wrong with a phone call to go over it and talk about it. There's nothing wrong with meeting going over it. But generally, if you have proper and true portfolio diversification, you will mitigate that issue.
I think a lot of advisors talk about, we properly plan and we properly plan. And I'm not taking anything away from everyone. Everyone has their own convictions and ideas of what a retirement plan is. But I want to take a minute and say, you have a proprietary plan, at TAG that hits all of the major areas of retirement, right? So I want to take a minute and talk about that. And I actually have it in front of me right now because I think this is really important. So there's the retirement planning, the investment planning, retirement withdrawal planning, paying yourself, right? Tax efficiency planning. How many advisors are talking about how to get the most efficient tax strategy possible? Healthcare planning, wealth management planning. These are all of the main areas, Brian, right, that people need to know. This true holistic planning. Why is that so important?
Well, it's because, first of all, I think people deserve it. We feel that at the advisory group is that we really want to be that holistic planner that helps people not miss something, okay? The first thing. The other thing is it just makes a stronger portfolio. It makes everything work better for you, not only at the time you do it, but it's the issue of doing it for the rest of your retired life.
Market conditions are always going to change, right? And I feel bad for some seniors that they're looking at their portfolio every day online. They're watching the news and the stock market tickers doing this and that. That is no way to go through retirement. Now, I understand that some people enjoy a bit of risk. They want a little bit of play money to do that with, but there's others that they don't know of the alternatives, Lucas, that are out there where they could be more protected, right? And not have to, sail these choppy waters every day. That's no way to do retirement, right?
No, not at all. So yeah, we like to work with our clients and have a nice diversified plan. Again, we are not saying that you have to eliminate all risk, but as long as you have other assets that are protected and working together, it's okay to have some risk. You know that you'll have some assets that are still protected for if the market were to go down.
But Brian, I play golf with my advisor, my current advisor. I go to church with them. But they know inside that something's potentially missing. What do we tell those folks?
Well, first of all, loyalty is a good thing. We all have loyalty and love that within our life in whatever situation we're in, friends, family, whoever. The issue comes down to when it's loyalty to your financial advisor, but at what price? What is that meaning? If you're not getting what you want out of your retirement plan, you might want to question yourself to say, am I with the right advisor? That's where we would come in and look at things and so on. There are times we can start working with someone, though, where if it really means a lot to stay with your current advisor, there may be other ways that we can start working together. Maybe you don't feel you need to have your whole plan there. Now, maybe it does make sense to change. But I know that could be difficult because of the loyalty, but you have to decide what does that mean to yourself to be loyal, but yet have your plan suffer.
Yeah, because, I don't want to belittle this, but this isn't loyalty to your favorite restaurant that you like to eat at. Mm-hmm. This is the difference between having potentially a good retirement and a spectacular retirement. It could be the difference between a failed retirement and a good retirement. So love the loyalty piece as well. But what is the harm, Lucas, in a second set of eyes, looking over what you have and asking some questions?
There's no harm in that whatsoever. We provide second opinions. We do it all the time. And even if you have an advisor that you're loyal to and you like working with, they might only offer some of the aspects to the full retirement plan. We provide that full holistic approach, and maybe you can stay with your current advisor for some of your assets and maybe work with another one at the same time that might offer something a little bit more that your other advisor does not.
And that I will have to take as the final word for this segment. Lucas, thank you so much. Brian, thank you. Great topics today. If you want more information about any of these, hey, pick up that phone right now and give us a call. We'd love an opportunity to talk to you. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
At the Advisory Group, we understand the importance of smart tax planning. Maximize your returns and minimize your stress with our unique tax efficiency strategies. Don't let taxes weigh you down. Keep more of your hard-earned money. Call the Advisory Group today to experience the freedom of tax efficiency planning. Call now or scan the QR code on your screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. The Advisory Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991. Welcome to Mastering Retirement with TAG. This is our educational segment and one of our favorite segments because we get to teach you about a topic that is both near and dear to our heart, but is something that clients bring up very often. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Social Security. And what I'm going to look at is the history of Social Security and how it compares to today and why that's important for your retirement. Because I'm sure you hear a lot in the news and in newspapers and whatever media you're consuming about Social Security. And a lot of what we hear is very negative news, but even if Social Security is in a bad place, you need to plan for it. And so I'm going to show you where Social Security is at, and then we're going to talk about how you plan no matter what happens with Social Security. So if you look here, I've got the history of Social Security. It was created in 1935 during the New Deal by Franklin Roosevelt as a way to provide income to those who needed it, to widows and people who weren't working, retired. It was a way to give them income so that they could live. 1935 it is established, and at that point, 42 people were paying into Social Security for every one that received it. So that meant that 42 people were pulling money out of their paychecks. It was going into Social Security, and only one person was taking out on average. At that time also, you could not take Social Security until you were age 65. Today it's 62, back then it was 65. So you can see where less people would be taking it because you had to be older. Along those same lines, the life expectancy in 1935 was 62 years old. So that meant there were a considerable amount of people who never even reached Social Security age at that point. And so you can see where less people would be drawing out of it. And then if you made it to 65 in 1935, you were expected to take Social Security on average for only 2 years. That is a massive difference compared to today. Let's look at today. The ratio of workers today that's contributing into Social Security is 3 for every one that is pulling out. In 10 years, that's projected to be only 2 for every one that's pulling out. And the reason for that is our population is aging, just like every other country in the world. And so more people are pulling out than are putting into Social Security. In addition to that, you don't have to wait till 65 anymore. You can pull it out at 62 now. Now you get a reduced rate at 62. So that's something to consider if you're thinking of that. But you can start it at 62 if you wish. In addition to that, if you start at 62, you are expected on average to take Social Security for 23 years, much longer than the 2 years when it started. So this is why people think Social Security is in so much trouble. Because if you look at these numbers, it obviously is in a much different financial position than it was when it started. And so that can be scary for some people. They think, well, what am I going to do if I don't get Social Security? Well, we're here to tell you that there are things you can do, and that is called planning. So when I was young, my dad, who is a very optimistic man, but he was a CPA, and so he would tell me all about financial topics when I was a kid and didn't really care what he was telling me. So one of the things he always told me is, Brad, you need to plan like you're not going to get Social Security. And that's what planning is what if you could make a plan so that if Social Security came or it didn't come or it was a reduced benefit, it wouldn't really matter for you because you have a contingency in place. And then Social Security may just be your gravy, we like to call it, your extra money. It is possible. We do it all the time with clients. So I don't personally believe that Social Security will be gone. I think you will receive some sort of Social Security. I think it's likely. I can't guarantee anything, but I think it's likely. However, your plan should be set up so that it really doesn't matter, or it matters less, so that you can weather the storm of a reduced Social Security or a missing Social Security. The other thing with Social Security to remember is that it is not just about your benefit. It's about your and your spouse's benefit. So if you're in a situation where you have 2 Social Securities, then planning becomes even more important because you need to figure out what is the best scenario for you and your spouse, both before one of you passes away and after. And I'm here to tell you that it can cost you up to 6 figures if you choose wrong. And that's what we do with clients every day. We help them make the correct choice. We use what's called Social Security planning software, where we input your information, and we create a plan for you that is comprehensive and covers all the eventualities, all of your retirement in one nice, easy-to-read report. So if you have any questions about anything you've heard today, don't hesitate to give us a call or check out our website. Thank you.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
Now more than ever, it's vitally important to review your current retirement plan and get an educated second opinion. Hi, I'm Lucas Dengler, and for many American retirees and pre-retirees, this is a confusing time. As a local business here in the Quad Cities for over 30 years, we have educated thousands of families on how to retire well through all market conditions. Call now or scan the QR code on the screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. The Advisory Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retirement True or False. Brad, Brian, I've got some great questions this week. Are we ready?
Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's do
All
it.
right. Brad, first question for you. You don't have to worry about taxes in retirement. True or false?
False.
That's a big old
Big
false.
time.
Yeah.
First of all, is there anyone in the United States who doesn't worry about taxes regardless of what situation they're in? But in retirement, it's probably the biggest taxable moment in your life, because every dollar you take out of a 401k or IRA, which is the majority of most retirees' savings, is taxable. And so you need to look at your entire tax picture over the entirety of your retirement. We call it your retirement tax bill, and figure out if there's a way you can minimize that, just like everybody wants to. Minimize taxes, maximize returns.
You know, I think there are people out there like, well, you know, it just changes my tax bracket. That's it. That's the only thing that I can do here is the tax bracket thinking,
Yeah.
right? And correct me if I'm wrong here, Brad, this is a time in life where you've got some good control on what you're going to end up paying Uncle Sam. Fair statement?
Oh, definitely. You control how much money you pull out of your taxable buckets. And so you might have some guaranteed income like a pension, or you could count Social Security in that bucket. And that's your baseline. But from there, you can completely control it. And you can use that control to your advantage to minimize future taxes and also future other income taxes that they don't call a tax.
So let me ask you this, because I'm listening at home and I'm saying, okay, a minor adjustment, what does that really mean at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Could this in fact be tens of thousands of dollars over the course of retirement if you get your tax?
It could be hundreds of thousands.
Could be hundreds of
millions
thousands.
for some people.
Right.
Yeah.
We had someone recently that we worked with that their required minimum distribution was going to be $240,000 a year just from that.
Wow.
And so we're doing tax efficiency planning with them and looking at strategic ways that we can work with that to reduce. We may not be able to eliminate it, but we can definitely look at ways that we can reduce that to help them have more spendable money in retirement.
More spendable money in retirement.
Yep.
I like how that sounds. Brian, next question for you. One bad year can have a dramatic effect on your retirement. True or false?
True. A bad year starting out can make a world of difference. And if it goes from there, it even gets worse. So it's very important to take into account, and I think a big part of that, of how you can do that, and what most people probably have never done, is stress test. So the idea that we go through and help them look at it to play the what ifs, to say, okay, what if the early part of your retired life, for some reason, the market doesn't cooperate? Or expenses come into play that you never maybe even thought. Tax rates go up, whatever the reason is. If you go through and are doing proper planning, you will stress test your portfolio.
So what you're saying is I come into the office, you put those little stickers on me and you run an EKG? Is it different than that?
Clear.
Or is it technically like an EKG, but for your portfolio? How does that work?
Yeah, it would be like an EKG for your portfolio. What you're really looking at to say, if this happens, are we prepared?
And is it a software system that you use and you just put all that information on there? And what does it base it? It's just things that have happened in the past, could potentially happen in the future?
Historical data.
Historical
Yeah.
data.
It's either historical data or it could be something that you input to say, well, what if tax rates go from where they are to whatever? Okay, you can manually input something.
So how often, when you print this out and you're sitting there with folks, they look at it and say, had absolutely no idea this could happen?
Definitely most of the time.
Yeah, that's an important
sure.
thing to do to make sure. All right, last question for you, Brad. Mutual funds could have very heavy fees associated with them. True or false?
That is true. They can have very hefty fees associated with them. The first thing we always tell clients in this regard, though, is remember that a fee is not a problem as long as you're receiving value for that fee. But what we like to do with our clients, especially in regards to mutual funds, is look at their mutual fund portfolio And is it providing you value for this fee? Now, that fee could be buying you risk mitigation or income in some cases. With mutual funds, they can provide an income. But is it commensurate with the value that you're receiving? That's one of the first things we're going to look at.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you point blank. You've seen a lot of mutual funds. They've come in from people that started working with TAG. Give me an idea of the possible fees being paid.
They can be as high as an upfront charge of 5.75%. That's about the high end.
So then the market would have to exceed that for you to make money.
Definitely.
That means that's going to be tough. So when you go backwards in the market, you also lose that 5+%.
Yeah.
Let's take a minute. I've got about 30 seconds left here. And why wouldn't I do an ETF instead?
Well, the problem with an ETF is that it is a lot less intelligent than most mutual funds. It's kind of a set it and forget it style. A mutual fund can be more specific about its goal in many cases.
Gotcha.
And provide a strong income, which is what some people look for in mutual funds. But what we're looking at with clients generally is even outside of mutual funds. What if there is something that may not even have a fee, but that can provide you with that income you're looking for, or that protection you're looking for?
Yes.
And then we would compare it against the fees you're paying now, and we're able to tell whether this is right for you.
Brad, Brian, thanks so much. Great topics today. If you want more information, pick up the phone right now, give us a call, or go to our website. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
We can talk all day about Social Security, taxes, healthcare, income, and risk. But the truth is, your financial journey is unlike anyone else's. Hi, I'm Brian Nauman with the Advisor Group. Even a small difference like your age, assets, risk tolerance, or longevity can mean a big shift in your retirement strategy. That's why we created our customized TOP program. It focuses on the 6 most important issues that can help you make the most of every dollar you've saved for retirement. With over 30 years experience, we've developed a holistic, personalized approach to financial planning that puts you first. Please don't leave your financial future to chance. Call today or scan the QR code on your screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. The Advisor Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Ask Tag, where you email your questions into us and we answer them right here on the show. Lucas and Brad, I've got some great questions this week. Lucas, I will begin with you. Paul from Eldridge writes, I'm looking for a new retirement plan and financial advisor. Please explain to me how in this economy you can get good returns without having to take significant risk.
Hi, Paul. Thank you for your question. Achieving good returns while minimizing risk involves building a well-diversified portfolio. At TAG, we like to focus on a mixture of low-risk investments like bonds or fixed annuities with strategic allocations in market performance. It's also critical to make sure that your plan aligns with your risk tolerance and your goals. Call us today. We'd love to help you and get your plan on track.
You know, Lucas, this is one of the things that I love about TAG is the whole comprehensive wealth management piece. And have you seen people come in and basically all they have are accounts?
Yes.
And it's like, well, where's the plan? Clearly, you have done a great job of sitting at the table of sacrifice and saving. Now it's time for a plan. How often do you see a new person that comes in and basically the plan is just the accounts?
We get that quite often, actually, believe it or not. And at TAG, we like to look at all outside accounts and figure out a nice plan to get everything aligned with those goals and those risk tolerance.
Brad, next question for you. It's from Marcia and LeClaire, and she writes, I'm 67 and recently widowed, and I'm very concerned about keeping my money safe. I lost $50,000 of my husband's pension and another $25,000 of my own Social Security benefits. I have $1.5 million in assets. Where can I find safety and security in today's volatile stock market? How can I make sure my money will last my entire life?
Well, Marcia, I'm so sorry for your loss. That's always such a hard time. And imagine on top of that, you've lost $75,000 in income. I mean, that is a significant reduction in income, and it happens all the time. When one spouse leaves us, they usually take some portion of their income with them. So the good news for you is you have other assets, and that's where a plan would come in order to use those assets to make up for that deficit. Now, ideally, we would plan with somebody before this happens, but of course, we can't choose when it happens. And so if you're in that situation, then what we need to do is figure out what is the best way for you to overcome that deficit.
Lucas, last question for you, and it's from Jared on Rock Island. He writes, my money is tied up in a 401k in a cash account, and I'll be retiring in 2 years. Would you recommend seeing an advisor now or waiting until I retire?
Hey, Jared, thank you for your question. Meeting with an advisor now will help better position your savings for when you are ready to retire. At TAG, we would look at your 401k allocation options and help you decide how we can maximize growth and still have some safety for when that retirement time is ready. Planning ahead will also help you with things like taxes, income options, and you'll have a clear roadmap to follow when that time is here.
You know, Lucas, is it ever too early or too late to come in and get a second opinion about your portfolio?
No, it's never too early. The earlier the better, we say.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people might think, Lucas, I've already been retired. I've been retired for 10 years. There's nothing that I can do. I'm set in this plan. That's not true necessarily, right?
No, not at all. As we know, life changes, market changes, all these things can affect our plans. So having a regular scheduled review is great to stay on top of those changes.
Lucas, Brad, thank you so much. Hey, if you want more information about anything we spoke about here today, give us a call in the office. Pick up that phone now. We'd love to start a conversation with you. Or you can go to our website. But most importantly, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
At the Advisory Group, we understand the importance of smart tax planning. Maximize your returns and minimize your stress with our unique tax efficiency strategies. Don't let taxes weigh you down. Keep more of your hard-earned money. Call the Advisory Group today to experience the freedom of tax efficiency planning. Call now or scan the QR code on your screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. The Advisory Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991.
You're watching Retirement Planning Made Easy.
Thanks for watching today's show.
And if you want more information about anything we spoke about here today, give us a call in the office or go to our website.
The Advisor Group, providing financial peace of mind since 1991.